All right, welcome back to another project with my Mecalac 6 MCR, and I'm just in love with this machine. It just makes everything so easy, and I can make an argument it's the most versatile one machine out there that you could ever buy. So this is what I'm trying to do here with my property. There's going to be a new fence line here. And this is basically a flag lot. And from this line over to the right is the entrance to my property. This is basically the direction of the driveway. So I'm trying to create a driveway that pulls in right about here. And that's the left side of the driveway. This is going to be the right side of the driveway. Um, Currently, it's hard to get in because of this pole right here. Drawing a little arrow here. This pole is basically protecting an irrigation riser right here. And I've got to get rid of this riser. I can't have a driveway come over that, and I don't really need a riser. They used to do flood irrigation in this property. So basically, this whole project is trying to redo the the irrigation right here at my driveway entrance. So basically, I am going to replace it with a pipe that goes under the driveway here and then turns back onto my property and connects with my other pipe. So here I am coming up to that fence post that basically you can see it right here. Here's that fence post, and at the base of that is that irrigation riser with the tire around it. So I'm just going to try and get rid of it. I'm no professional, obviously. It's not like I do this for a living. So you can watch me struggle to pull this thing out. And again, I've only been running this machine for, I don't know, 30 hours at this point. Oops, I'm a little bit stronger than I realized. Accidentally just crunched the whole top of that off. It looked like a pretty sturdy piece of wood, but it's who knows how old. So I'm trying to come at it at slightly different angle with the Mecalac's offset boom, and I was able to get it out. And now watch me, instead of just set it off to the side, I just fumble around. Instead of doing it all in one movement, I end up trying to push it aside. This is basically just me getting a bunch of experience and figuring out what to do. Obviously, you become a lot more efficient at these things the more time you spend. And now I'm going to try and remove the tire that's right around the irrigation riser. It's a bit silly. I could have just gotten out and moved the tire. But again, this is just me trying to get better with the machine. I have a saying, if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly. Too many times we are afraid to do something because we might suck at it. And we have these unrealistic expectations that if we're going to do something, it better be done right. And sometimes that prevents us from ever starting to do something. So if it's worth doing, it's worth learning how to do it, sucking at it, getting a little bit better and getting a little bit better until you perfect doing that thing. Anyway, that's how I am feeling okay to do all this crap by myself, um, even though I'm not that great at it right now. So just whatever it is you want to do in life, just feel free to start at the bottom and slowly get better. So at this point, I'm tired of bumping into these low hanging tree branches, and I'm figuring I should probably cut down these tree branches. After bumblefutzing around with an extended chainsaw, I decided I would just rip the freaking branches down with the Mecalac. This was way easier, way faster, and honestly, just way safer. All right, now that I've got those branches out of the way, I can finally get started on some digging. And I'm going to try and dig right down the side of this irrigation riser. Something that really surprised me was just how much dirt I can pull out with this 18-inch bucket. I have a small John Deere 1025R with an 18-inch bucket, and it doesn't hold hardly anything, but this thing is just, the bucket itself weighs 290 pounds, and it can really move some dirt for only an 18-inch bucket. Look at this old pipe I found. Don't know what it's from. So you can see I exposed that irrigation riser, and I also actually broke the pipe. You can see at the bottom of that riser, that part of the pipe is broken. It actually came towards the camera just a little bit and then turned 90 degrees to the right, and that went up into my property. So I also did a little bit more digging and decided to expose the pipe further towards that big tree and make sure that I covered this with the appropriate kind of crushed rock so that it could support any weight of anything going over a driveway. I didn't want to break this pipe putting in a driveway. So this is just me doing some more digging, and you'll be able to see just how unique the Mecalac is in getting around, angling. This was a really tight spot where I was. I couldn't move the Mecalac any further, further down the road, down along the pipe, because there was a tree I was probably a foot away from. So this is absolute farthest I could dig, given the circumstances. So the wind has been blowing so terribly. My camera blew over. To make matters worse, the wind ripped the door out of my hand and shattered the window of the Mecalac. So my first big um, injury to the Mecalac that is basically from my own stupidity. But I wasn't expecting the wind to rip the whole door and slam it back. Oh well. At this point, I've dug as much as I can with the Mecalac, exposed as much pipe as close to the tree as I can, and now it's all just getting covered with roots. And I've cracked the pipe up to this point, so now I have to expose it a foot beyond that so that I can put a slip coupler on there. Anyway, I've got to do most of this part by my hand, and I'm afraid to break it any further if I use the Mecalac anymore. Now that I have the pipe exposed, I need to go pick up the pipe. So this is a different day. I'm hooking up the gooseneck flatbed to go pick up some 20-foot sections of irrigation pipe. All right, here's the irrigation pipe. We have some crushed rock fines trying to get into all the crevices to support that pipe. Make sure that whenever I drive over this driveway with a truck, that it's gonna, protect this pipe from crushing or getting smashed. So the Mecalac really shines at this little job. I'm actually on the road, which is about 6 or 7 feet away from the edge of this hole. And there's actually a pile of dirt in between the road and the edge of this hole. So I'm going and picking up this. I'm parking on the side of the hole, and then with this big skid steer bucket, I'm able to reach down and really extend the boom like an excavator, but with the bucket capacity of this skid steer. It's just really fantastic. Again, you can kind of see by the time he's done packing in some of these crevices and getting underneath the pipe, I'm already back with another load. So I'm moving at the speed of a skid steer, the capacity of a skid steer, but the maneuverability of an excavator. It's always good to have a good hole guy, so I really appreciate Jesse helping me out here with this job. Can't really do it without a hole guy. So now I can use this skid steer attachment on an excavator arm, and this is a plate compactor, vibratory plate compactor, trying to just compress the lateral thirds of this trench. I don't want to be too aggressive. I don't want to put too much pressure down. Even though I have 5 or 6 inches on top of this pipe, I'm just trying to be pretty careful. You can see the ground all around this entire trench shaking every time I put some down pressure and compact the earth. It's pretty impressive. This thing really shakes the ground. Now I'm pretty much ready to push the rest of the pile back into the trench and finish the whole backfilling process. This is probably my favorite part of this video, and this really just shows where this Mecalac can do things that a skid steer can't and that an excavator can't. So I just dropped, this load. I just pulled right up along this trench, dropped a skid steer bucket full of dirt, and now I can reach across the whole trench and just back drag this big bucket. I am being pretty careful because that bucket is really heavy, and when I really stretch it out, it really starts to feel tipsy. So I'm digging in. There's no way I could lift this dirt this far out, so I'm just kind of dragging it along the ground so it doesn't lift my tracks up. But it's just amazing to be able to do this, and it just saves a ton of time, so I don't have to back all the way over there on the other side of the hole and try and bulldoze all that dirt back in. So you can see me switch from a plate compactor, hop out, disconnect the hydraulics, quick disconnect from the skid steer attachment, and go right into my Mecalac skid bucket. And this is where, like, the only time I really just use the skid function. Like, I'm just pushing dirt, there's no big holes I have to reach over, just trying to somewhat grade the ground a little bit. Again, I'm no professional, I'm just a DIY guy willing to suck at something, but at least I get the job done. If not, if it doesn't take me a little longer than somebody who does this full time. So you saw me just switch down to go to excavator mode. Now I needed to get some of this dirt away from the base of the tree, so I basically just use the excavator mode to pull back this. Really great function, works super well. And anyway, I'm just loving this machine. Now I'm just going to push this small pile of branches a little bit out of the way. Just push it back a little bit further. And that's really stretching that heavy bucket way out. I think I have my front grader blade down to help stabilize me, which is why I can really reach out. Anyway, I'm just pushing those things back. It'll help me pull this last little bit of trenched dirt out of this pile. And eventually I'm going to just spread it out and push it back into the trench. All right, here's sort of the final product. This is where the pipe went, straight back there. And this will be where the driveway is. So no more riser, no more fence post. Ground compacted, Mecalac standing strong. Thing is ready to continue on.